Hi, this is just to go through the difference between resizing and resampling in Photoshop. So when we're actually changing the size of an image in Photoshop, there's two ways you can go about it. You can either resize the image or you can resample it. And a lot of people use those terms interchangeably, but they actually mean different things. And there's quite an important difference between the two. So if we want to have a look and see what our image size is to start with, we can go into image and then image size. And it brings up not only the dimensions of the image, so you can see here are the dimensions in pixels, and you can change that to centimeters if you wish, and as well as, and here it is the original size there. And then we have also the resolution of the actual image, and you can see here that's quite a high res image. It's 300 pixels per inch. What we need to be aware of though is this little tick box here, and it's this little tick box that makes all the difference when we actually are working in Photoshop and if we have it ticked on or off. So if we turn this off, in effect what we're doing is resampling the image. So that's changing the number of pixels in the image, and that will be reflected in both the width and the height. So if you have a look, if I change this now resolution down to 72, you can see what actually happens. It actually multiplies the width and the height by the percentage or the proportion that that was reduced by. Let's just change that back to 300. If I was to change this to 600, so I'm doubling the resolution, in order for my image to actually be accurately reflected at 600, it halves the actual width and the height. Now, if I want to resample my image, and resampling actually changes the number of pixels in the image itself. If I change this down now to 72, you can see that the width and height remain the same, but the resolution now is just that it's 72 pixels across, or per inch, 72 pixels per inch across. When we're actually resampling an image, we can't increase the resolution without changing the width and height. So it's fine to leave resample on if we want to reduce the resolution, but if we want to increase the resolution, what we would need to do is we would actually need to turn the resampling off and actually resample the image so that the width and the height are at an appropriate or a proportionate size to the change in resolution that we've actually made. I don't know what has happened in particular with this image, but when I go into the details, if I go into image and image size, you can see that the width and the height are very small. So it's a tiny photo now. It's gone from being 15 centimeters down to 3.5 centimeters at 72 ppi. So I'm not sure if it was resampled down or if something's happened there. So when we're actually resampling, so we go to our original, which will be the PSD file, wherever you've got that. And then what we would do is to save them out, we would go image, image size, and I think you're required to produce a JPEG file, so let's just make that 72 and leave the height and width the same. So there's our low res or 72 DPI JPG file. That's the PNG file. So the PNG file, I believe, was to be I don't have the book open. Let me just open up the checklist. The PNG was supposed to be at 300 DPI, and I believe this is. But because what's happened, I think, is you've opened up perhaps a lower resolution JPEG file and saved that out from that. You've now got quite a small PNG file as well. So go back to your original. You go back to your original and then file save as, and then save it out as the file type that you want once you've made your changes to it. And then the TIFF file is supposed to have been the highest quality file. If I open this up, that's your TIFF file there. So again, I think what you've done is you've used one of the lower res versions to actually save this as the TIFF. So always start with your highest quality, reducing down to the lowest quality, and you don't have to keep going back to the original. Otherwise, keep going back to your original.